Hey, beautiful people. It's your girl, Andrea, coming to you with a quick video live snippet. When I say quick, just for about 30 minutes. Welcome to Thirsty Thursdays. Welcome to Thirsty Thursdays. We are into the third month of Thirsty Thursdays. Thirsty Thursdays, every Thursday, at least the first 3 Thursdays of the month. Elizabeth, can you turn that down for me, please? Thank you. We discuss, focus in on a biblical character who is a woman, and we dive deep into her reason, her rhythm, and her revelation. Those are the 3 pillars of the Beautiful You movement. Are you a part of the Beautiful You movement? Huh? The Beautiful You movement is where women stop shrinking and start becoming. It's where women stop shrinking and start becoming. For as long as I can remember, women have been taught to shrink. We've been taught to shrink in ways that we don't even realize it. And you ever hear a person who may have a child who is a racist, and the parent says, well, I never taught them racism. I taught them to love everyone. People think that, sometimes we think teaching someone something means telling them to do something. But we actually teach others by the way we carry ourselves, right? I don't believe we understand as humans how powerful our influence is. I believe everyone walking this planet is influential, right? Now, some of us may have a bigger degree of influence than others, but every one of us is influential. We have influenced someone. We are influencing someone. We will influence someone. And we usually teach people and influence people by the way we carry ourselves, the way we talk, the way we behave. People are paying attention to us. And as women, for as long as I can remember, we unfortunately have been trained to shrink in so many ways. In so many ways, we've watched the women in our lives shrink, silence themselves. And so, if you are thirsty to become more, to show up in the world fully as yourself, to no longer hide any parts of yourself, to live unashamed, then hang with us every Thursday. Become a part of the movement, the Beautiful You movement. You'll see right here, pinned is a link for you to click to sign up for our newsletter. Every month, we release a newsletter that is so powerful. It is power-packed. We have our affirmation of the month. We have our reflection of the month. We have phenomenal, Beautiful You partners. All of our partners are women. They own phenomenal businesses. And we showcase them every month in our newsletter. We also have a story, a cliffhanger story, which gets better and better every week. And we have puzzles, we have coloring pages for creativity. It's just beautiful. And I'm so honored to create a space in the world for women to be empowered, for women to learn how to use their voice again and to no longer shrink, but to be authentically themselves. And so this month we're discussing Rahab. Rahab. And I'm pretty much excited to have this conversation about her. I'm going to invite a few people who I think would be interested. How do I invite? Wow, this is not allowing me to invite, which is so interesting. I'm going to check real quick to see if I'm live and invite some people on via my laptop. Who's the first seed, the challenge. Join our WhatsApp group, which is the community. Part of the reason why many of us... I'm going to be opening up... Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm back. Okay, beautiful people. So I'm going to... Y'all forgive me. I got distracted. Ooh, child. I just want to make sure I'm live. Go on my page, make sure I'm live. Okay, I am live. All right, beautiful people. So here we go. Facebook used to allow me to invite people, but it's not letting me do that. Okay, let me take a drink. I guess I'm going to be having this conversation with myself, but that's all good. If you catch the replay, wonderful. Just engage, share something, share your takeaway. All right. For those of you who may not know who Rahab is, the scriptures describe her as a harlot. In the translation that I'm reading, which is the New International Version, they call her a prostitute. And the scriptures that describe this this woman is Joshua. She's first introduced in Joshua chapter 2. Okay? Joshua had just became Moses' successor. God encourages Joshua and tells Joshua, be unafraid. You're going to be able to you're going to possess Jericho. And Jericho is where Rahab the harlot lives. Rahab the prostitute lives. And it says in Joshua chapter 2, then Joshua the son of Nun secretly sent 2 spies from Shittim to Jericho. And these spies went. And it says, so they went and entered the house of a prostitute named Rahab and stayed there. I have so many questions. So many questions. And I know we're focusing on Rahab, but I gotta ask these questions, right? Why are these 2 Israelite spies, of all the houses to stay at, why did they choose to stay in the house of a harlot? Right? Can we just unpack that? Let's think about, I know that those were different times then, but let's think about that now. What would you say if the leader of an organization, a church organization, sends out 2 members or 2 clergymen to another country to spy, to scout it out, why would those 2 men of God, of all the places to go and lay their head, choose the house of a prostitute? I'll wait. And for those of you who are catching the replay, why do you think that? Why? If we were to hear 2 men of God staying at a prostitute's house, oh my goodness. Oh, the internet would go crazy. It will definitely be a viral situation. I can see the headlines now. 2 men of God choose to stay at a prostitute's house. Now, they could have done it for 2 different reasons. One reason, because the obvious. Men doing what men do. This is what she does for a living. Might as well, while we spy out here, gotta get a groove on. Or they chose this as a strategy and said this would be the least likely place for us to be found. So let's stay here. It could be either or, right? It could be either or it could be and. It could be both. Either way, no judgment. No judgment, right? No judgment. And so they choose to stay at Rahab's house. And Rahab is a prostitute. This is what she does for her livelihood. Anyway, the king of Jericho was told, the king of Jericho got word that some of the Israelites came by night to spy out the land. And the king of Jericho sent this message to Rahab saying, bring out the men who came to you and entered your house, because they have come to spy out the land. And then it says, but the woman had taken the 2 men and hidden them. She said, yes, the men came to me, but I did not know where they had come from. And I'm going to stop right there. Rahab did something very courageous. And although she is known to be a prostitute, and mentioned several times in the Bible as such, she is also listed as a person of great faith. Although listed as a woman, as a harlot, Rahab the harlot. I believe she was listed that way in the beginning and in the second time that she is mentioned. And it says a lot. It says so much. Let's talk about Rahab's why, her reason. And in the Beautiful You movement, your why is the whole healed version of you. W for whole, H for healed, Y for you. Your why is the whole healed version of you. It is the part of you that chooses from a place of wholeness and from a place of being healed. As opposed to from your trauma, as opposed to your pain, right? Rahab teaches us something, though, and I just want to pull out these 3 points. The first point is her past, and that's the first P, her past. Rahab's past. What do we know about Rahab? The most that we know about her is, or as far as her origin, she was a prostitute. And the Bible mentions this about her 2 times. There is something significant about her past, about this title that describes her past. Rahab did not allow her past to define her, but she also did not erase it. How do we know? The scriptures still mention her as a harlot. It mentioned her as a harlot in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. And let's just be accurate about that. Okay? Let's see. Rahab mentioned twice as a harlot. Yes. Joshua. 3 times mentioned. In Joshua, Hebrews. In Hebrews, she's mentioned as a hero of faith. And in James, Rahab the prostitute as an example of faith combined with action. Rahab did not allow her past to define her, but she also did not erase it. Her past created contrast. It reminded her of where she did not want to return. Sometimes our past becomes the evidence of what we no longer desire for our lives. It awakens a deeper hope for something better. Rahab's past gave her the clarity to recognize that another life was possible. Could it be, sometimes we say this, and I've said this multiple times, forget about your past. Forget about your past. Rahab here gives us another way of seeing our past. So many times let me speak for myself. There are a lot of things that have happened to me, or there are a lot of things that have happened in my past that I just want to erase, y'all. I wish it did. Sometimes I wish it didn't happen. Sometimes I would like for it to be a distant memory. Huh? But Rahab's past was pivotal for her. And scriptures brings it up multiple times. Rahab the harlot. Rahab the prostitute. Sometimes our past becomes the evidence of what we no longer desire for our lives. It awakens a deeper hope for something better. Rahab's past gave her the clarity to recognize that another life was possible. Let me tell you something. There are times where I am tempted to look back. I am tempted to pine after the things that God has delivered me from. But guess what helps me to not go there? Remembering the pain. Remembering why I didn't want to go, why I made an about face. Do you get what I'm saying? So for some of us, it could be so many different things. For some of us, it could be an addiction. Maybe sometimes we're tempted to pick up the bottle. Sometimes we're tempted to whatever that addiction is. But then we remember how low we felt when we did it. And because we don't want to go back there, we say, you know what? This life is better. I've got a taste for something better, which we move into our second point, her present. Rahab's present moment came in the form of an opportunity, the arrival of the spies. Now, here's what I believe. Divine order, which means everything is happening precisely the way it's supposed to happen. There are no accidents. There's no happenstance. This is not a luck thing. Those spies came to Rahab's house because I believe Rahab was pining in her heart for something more. Rahab felt something greater. She probably couldn't even articulate it. She couldn't understand it. But she said within herself, I believe, it's not in there, but I believe Rahab was like, I'm greater than this. There's something greater in me. I know this is what I'm doing right now, but there's more. There is more. And this is why I call this Thirsty Thursdays, because this is for the woman who knows there's so much more to you. Where you are right now may not translate that, right? Your bank account may not reflect that, right? The followers on your social media account may not reflect that. The likes on your posts may not reflect that. The support you thought you would get, right, from family and friends may not reflect that. But there's something that you know within yourself. You know there is more. I believe Rahab felt that. And her faith attracted and pulled and manifested these two spies. It drew these two spies to her home. I believe that. I believe that Rahab prayed in her heart. She heard about the God of the children of Israel. And she prayed to this God, although she didn't understand this God, because research showed that where she came from, Jericho, they worshipped other gods. And they worshipped a sun, particularly a sun goddess. I believe this the god, that goddess's name starts with an A. So she was not familiar with the God of the children of Israel, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, or the God of Moses. She wasn't familiar with them, but she heard about him. And in her heart, she secretly prayed. She said, if you are real, if you are really who I believe you to be, show me a sign. And these two spies showed up to her house. And I would like to speak to, hey Nancy Pooh, I would like to speak to a woman who may be listening. Hey Mama Dot. I started a little bit earlier than usual. I would love to speak to the woman who has a past. Like Rahab the harlot, Rahab the prostitute. I am that woman. I am the woman with a past, right? I have a past of promiscuity. I have a past where there was a time in my life where I went from man to man to man. I was always in some kind of situationship, relationship, looking for love in all the right places, looking for love, right? That was me. Okay? The only difference between me and Rahab is she probably actually got paid. Okay? Dang. You know, I was kind of foolish. I ain't getting no dollars. Huh? Can I be transparent? Okay? She was smart about hers, okay? She was a businesswoman. She said, all right, if I'm fitting to give away the goods, I might as well get paid. You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm encouraging it. Not that I'm encouraging. Oh, y'all can relate, okay? Yeah. I was that girl. I was in my 20s, my late teens and 20s, and oh, Andrea, she fast. Okay? I was always trying to be locked up under some man's arms. That was me. Okay? And I can look at that version of me and be like, wow, okay. I understand why she was doing what she was doing. Okay? Rahab had to do what she had to do for whatever reason, right? Maybe she felt maybe she had to do that to take care of her family, right? Maybe that was her why, right? Maybe Rahab felt that that's where her value was. Maybe she was fly. She was fly, and she felt that her value was only in how she looked and her body, right? And she said, you know what? This is how I'm going to make my money and support my family. We don't know what Rahab's why was, but we do know that her why shifted based upon how she responded to those two spies that came to her, that showed up at her front door. Rahab chose to hide them, and that was so courageous. And so for those of you who just hopped on, right, we're discussing Rahab's why and how her why shifted. And the 3 points, so we're going to discuss 3 points. The first point is her past. That's the first P, her past. Rahab did not allow her past to define her. Yes, she's described as a harlot, as a prostitute. So although she didn't allow her past to define her, she also did not erase it. She didn't erase her past. And if you're like me, there are things that happened in my past that I'll be like, God, please, just throw it away. Erase it. And you know what God says? Or has said to me so many times? Nope. Nope, I'm not erasing that. I'm not erasing that. I want that. Because this is going to be your testimony. Everything that you have gone through in your past, it is fuel for your testimony. Somebody needs to be blessed by your story. This is why I love Rahab so much. Okay, I'm like, Rahab, me and you are right here. Because although she was a prostitute, she was smart. Although she was a prostitute, she knew deep down there was more. And if you take the time to check in to Thirsty Thursdays, you know there's more inside of you. Anybody, listen to me. Let me tell you something. It ain't no ordinary woman who's going to tune into Thirsty Thursdays. I'm just saying. There ain't no ordinary woman. Any woman who listens and tunes into Thirsty Thursdays, she's thirsty. Thirsty for God. Loves God. Thirsty for growth. Thirsty for more. Thirsty to become more. She knows there's more. There's more. Okay? Her past reminded her of where she did not want to return. And I was saying earlier, sometimes we'll say, I've said it, forget about your past. Sometimes we need not forget our past. Right? There are some things we need to remember so that we don't go back. Huh? Sometimes I'm not going to lie, sometimes I'm tempted or I'm itched. I'll be like, ugh. And then I remember why. And then something says, okay, but Andrea, you remember XYZ? You remember? And I'll be like, oh, yeah. Nah, that's why I'm not ashamed to talk about my addiction and my sobriety. My story can help someone else. get clean and stay clean. Amen. Amen. And continue to share your story. Because we are Rahab. It awakens. Sometimes our past becomes the evidence of what we no longer desire for our lives. It awakens a deeper hope for something better. Rahab's past gave her the clarity to recognize that another life was possible. And so, instead of me being ashamed of certain things, I look back and I say, okay, I understand why you did what you did. I love you. I love you. I forgive you. But we're not going back to that. And I know there's better because I've tasted it. I've tasted what better is. Which goes to the second point was her present, right? Her present, that's the second P. Rahab's present moment came in the form of an opportunity. Hey, Sidnitra, right? Rahab's present moment came in the form of an opportunity. And I think this is where you guys came in, where I started talking about, even though this is not mentioned in the scriptures, I believe Rahab was secretly praying in her heart, or maybe even praying in her house. Although where she came from, it says Jericho, they worshipped other gods, particularly a sun goddess, and her name starts with the letter A. I'm gonna find it right now. I should have wrote it down. Right? Although she wasn't familiar, very much familiar with the God of the children of Israel, right? She only heard about it. Although she was more familiar with the gods that the people in Jericho worshipped, there was something on the inside of her that knew there was more. And when she heard about what the God of the children of Israel did for them, it did something on the inside of her. And I believe before those spies came, Rahab was saying to herself, if God be real for them, I need for you to be real for me. I need for you to show me a sign. I need for you to show up for me in some miraculous way. Save me and my family. I strongly believe she prayed that prayer. And this is why the spies ended up at her house. Now, maybe they ended up at her house because they had some ulterior... Because, okay, these two men to God, okay, spies, why did they land at a prostitute's house? Only God knows. Right? I was saying earlier, it's either or and. Either they came there because they wanted to stop and handle their own business, get their groove on, or they came to Rahab's house because they felt it was the least obvious place for them to spy in. It's either or it could be both reasons. They said, you know what? This is the least obvious place, and we fitting to get our groove on. No judgment. No judgment. Okay? That's between them and their maker. Okay? They were living in different times then. Okay? And men were able to do whatever they wanted to do back then. Okay? But the people in Jericho worshiped the sun god. Let's see. The moon god. It was the name of I don't know why it's not coming up, but I promise next week to have the name of that god. It's not even that serious for us to know. But Rahab's present moment came in the form of an opportunity. But opportunities really appear out of nowhere. The fact that she recognized the moment suggests that there was already a yearning in her heart for a change, for a sign, for a door into something different. I want to encourage every woman who is listening today. Do not be ashamed of your past. Your past is a reminder of where you no longer desire to return. It is also a part of your story. God doesn't want to erase it. God doesn't want you to be ashamed of it. God desires for you to reframe it in such a way where you can empower others and also remember where you come from so you don't go back. Okay? I also want to encourage every woman listening today that your desire for more, God hears you. Last month, we spoke about the God who sees you. God not only sees you, but God hears the cry and the desires of your heart. The desires of your heart, continue to water them, because the vibration that comes from that, God hears your prayers. And there's an opportunity that is on its way to you. For Rahab, it was in the form of 2 spies. But for you, baby, your opportunity is coming. I prophesy your opportunity is coming. But you have to keep on nurturing that yearning, so when that opportunity comes, you are able to discern it and see it for what it is. And Rahab saw the opportunity. She could have allowed fear to stop her. But she said no. She allowed her why. She chose from the whole healed version of herself. Her why. Her reason. And I challenge every woman to choose from that place. Ask yourself, what would the whole version of me choose in this moment? What would the healed version of me choose right now? And the answer will come. It will either say yes or no. And in that moment, she chose a different why. I'm so proud of her. And she is us. We are her. And she stands as a mirror for us today to remind us of the truth. My God, I feel my help coming today. She is the mirror to remind us of the truth of who we are, that we are whole, that we are healed, and that we can choose from that place, and that there is better coming. There is an opportunity coming if we could just hold fast. Don't lose hope. Even though, oh my God, what was going on in Jericho at the moment is exactly what's happening now in the world. Jericho, the king of Jericho, got word. Rahab got word about the children of Israel and how they were coming to possess the lands that God promised them. There were wars and rumors of wars. And although we're living in a time where we're hearing wars and rumors of wars, I promise you that you are still going to possess the promises and the lands that God has for you. Come on here. Do not lose hope. Do not give up on yourself. This is not the time to fold. This is the time to keep pouring into yourself. This is the time to keep reading, to keep fasting, to keep your mind stayed on whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report. To keep your mind steadfasted on the principles that you know to be true, that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. That Everything is working together for the good, for your good, because you are the called and that you love God. So because she was present and aware, she was able to act when the opportunity came. You're present. You're present. You're present. Yes, we're not going to forget our past, but we're still going to live in the present. We're still going to be present to our now. In that moment, Rahab shifted not only the trajectory of her own life, but the future of her entire family, her bloodline. My girl, Rahab, was listed 3 times. She was listed in Hebrews as a hero of faith. She was listed among the grapes. Hear me, the grapes. The greats. And not only was she listed among the greats, do you know how she was referred to? Rahab the harlot. Huh? I don't believe God designed our past to be something for us to be ashamed of. Because if so, in the New Testament, it would have just said Rahab. But it didn't just say Rahab. It said Rahab the harlot. Come on here. And so when people want to bring up your past, don't get upset. Smile. Say, yes, yes, that was me. But look at me now. Huh? I love me some Rahab. Okay? And we go to our third point. Proof. Proof. The first point, her past. Second point, her present. Third point, her proof. Rahab had proof. She heard the stories about the Israelites and what God had done for them. How he delivered them and made a way where there seemed to be none. Let me tell you something. Every time you see God open a door for somebody you know, that's proof. That's not a moment. Don't allow jealousy to come up in your heart. And so if I see my sister get blessed first, that's proof. That's proof. That's God's way of saying, my turn is coming. Come on. My turn is coming. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate each other. That testimony became evidence in her mind that transformation was possible. What's possible for you is possible for me. I have 2 sisters on here who are going to graduate with degrees. What? So if they can do it, I can do it. Hello, somebody. Huh? So if God put it in your heart to go back to school, that means it's possible for me to go back to school and get my education. You are the proof. Nancy's the proof. Signitra's the proof. Signitra's the proof. Huh? Mama Dot is the proof that anyone can overcome any addiction. Proof. This is why we need to share our stories. This is why we need not to shrink. This is why we got to open up our mouths and be bold like Rahab. Listen, Rahab was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to save not only me, but I'm going to save my family. Listen, your children are on the line. God ain't just gave us children just to be like, I'm a mother. Come on. We are here to shift the trajectory of our children's lives and their children's lives. What we do now will affect their lives. We are more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. Rahab reminds us how powerful a woman is. How powerful your past is. And how you can use your past as a monument to reach for higher and to reach for greater. Not to be ashamed, not to shrink, not to fold, but to have faith. She held on to that proof and allowed it to guide her decision. Sometimes faith begins with simply believing the evidence that something greater is possible. She had the proof. I'm proof. You are proof. Your sister's the proof. Your children are the proof. Come on here. God has proven himself time and time again. God don't need to prove nothing no more. At this point, yes, Lord, I say yes. I say yes. I say yes to choosing to show up as the whole, healed version of myself every day. Because I have proof. Because I know what it's like to live low. I know what it is like to live low. I've run that down for years. And guess what? It's had it. Time's up. There's more. There's more. And Rahab said, time is up. Time is up. And God gave her an amazing opportunity. An amazing opportunity. And so she eventually became the mother of Boaz. Oh my goodness. She ended up marrying one of the spies. Listen, y'all. Rahab ended up marrying one of the very spies that she opened the door for. Let me tell you something. If we don't learn nothing today, your past, you don't have to erase it. Just don't let it define you. That's all. Don't let it define you. You don't have to erase it. Let it be a monument for you to know what not to return to. Let it be a monument to let you understand there's always greater. You're present. You're present. When you're present to your now, you'll be ready for opportunities. You'll see opportunities when they come. Many times we pray and ask God we ask God for open doors, but then we're not in a space to see them because we're still shrinking. And God is like, come on, girl. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Don't be shy. There's so much more. Be brave. God told Joshua to be brave. Rahab was brave. Brave enough to lie to the king of Jericho. She lied because she knew there was something greater. And she had the proof. What proof do you have? Where has God proven himself time and time again to you? How have you seen God proven himself with the people that are in close proximity to you? Work that. Hold fast to the promise, and you will see it manifest in your life. Thank you, ladies, for listening, for tuning in. Next week, we're going to talk about her rhythm. We're going to talk about Rahab's strategy. She was, Rahab, that's why she made it in Hebrews. That's why she is mentioned with the great heroes of faith. And Rahab is just like us. Just like us. She holds a mirror. She is a mirror to the greatness on the inside of us. May we continue to be great. May we be inspired by Rahab, the harlot. And always, and choose from the whole healed version of ourselves going forward. Tune in for next week. We're going to discuss her rhythm, her strategy, and we're going to dissect it and apply it and see how it fits in our lives so that when opportunities come, we'll choose from our why, a new why. I love you guys so much. Gotta go. Until next time, bye for now.